I want you to stop everything you are doing right now and listen to me very closely, because what we are about to discuss is the difference between having lukewarm physical connection and being the woman who absolutely haunts his mind in the best possible way. We are talking about the bedroom department today, but we are doing it differently. Most people think being great in the sheets is about gymnastics or having the flexibility of a circus performer or knowing 17 different techniques that you read in a magazine in the doctor's waiting room. But I am here to tell you that is absolute rubbish, because the single biggest organ involved in intimacy is the brain. If you cannot engage his mind, you are just another physical experience. But if you can unlock his imagination, you become an obsession. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, Matthew, I do not want to make it awkward. I do not want to kill the mood by talking too much. I want it to be spontaneous and natural. Here's the reality check. Spontaneity is fantastic, but guessing is dangerous. When you rely on guessing, you are playing a lottery with your pleasure and his pleasure. And frankly, life is too short for bad intimacy. We are going to go through 7 questions that are designed to strip away the awkwardness and replace it with raw high voltage tension. These aren't clinical questions like you are filling out a medical form. These are questions designed to be whispered, texted, or dropped into conversation over a glass of wine to build the kind of anticipation that makes him count down the minutes until he sees you. I want you to treat these questions as keys that unlock different parts of his psyche, because men are often terrified of expressing what they actually want. We are conditioned to think we need to be the experts, the ones who know exactly what to do. So when you come in with confidence and curiosity, you relieve him of that pressure and you signal that you are a woman of high value who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to explore the map. So let's dive into the first question, and this one is a massive game changer because it taps into the visual nature of men without being crude. Question number 1 is simply this. I want you to ask him, what is one scene from a movie or a book that you have always secretly wished you could live out in real life? Now listen to the psychology here. If you ask a man straight up what he is into, he might freeze. He might worry you will judge him. He might think his desires are too wild or too vanilla. But when you frame it around a movie or a story, you are giving him a safety net. You are depersonalizing it just enough that he feels safe to tell you the truth. He can blame the movie. He can say, oh, well, in this one film, there was this scene where they did this thing on a train, or there was this moment in a spy thriller where they had to be quiet while people were in the next room. Suddenly, you are not just talking about mechanics. You are talking about scenarios. You are talking about atmosphere. You are finding out if he's into the thrill of getting caught, or the romance of a slow burn, or the intensity of a power dynamic. And the beauty of this is that you do not have to do the thing he mentions immediately. You just file it away in your brain. You acknowledge it. You say, that sounds incredibly hot. That validation alone is going to make him feel 10 feet tall. You have just become his confidant. You have entered the inner sanctum of his fantasies, and you didn't even have to take your clothes off to do it. This builds a level of psychological intimacy that is actually far more potent than the physical act itself, because now he knows you see him. He knows you get it. You are not just a body, you are a partner in crime. And let's be honest, knowing his fantasy gives you the upper hand, because now you can tease it. You can drop little hints. You can create that tension. Tension is the oxygen of attraction. If you give him everything immediately, there is no tension. But if you know what he wants and you make him wait for it, or you give him little tastes of it, that is when he becomes addicted to you. Now, moving on to question number 2, and this one is about calibration. It is about understanding his rhythm, because every male operates at a different frequency. The question is, when we are together, do you prefer the slow burn where we take our time? Or do you like it when the energy is high and intense right from the start? This seems like a simple A or B question, but it tells you everything about his temperament. Some men need that slow build-up to disconnect from their stress. They need the foreplay to be mental and physical. They need the massage, the talking, the slow touch to get out of their work brain and into their pleasure brain. Other men feed off that primal energy where it is urgent and passionate and almost aggressive in a playful way. If you are a slow burn person and he is a sprinter, and you never talk about it, you are going to have a mismatch that leaves both of you frustrated. You will feel rushed and he will feel bored. But by asking this, you are showing him that you care about his experience, and you are also setting the stage to advocate for your own. If he says, I love the intense stuff, you can say, I love that too, but sometimes I need that slow build to really get my engine running. So maybe we can mix it up. Boom. You have just negotiated your pleasure without it sounding like a complaint. You have framed it as a collaboration. And I want to point out something crucial here about the way you ask these questions. Tone is everything. If you ask this like a teacher scolding a student, it kills the vibe. You have to ask it with a smirk. You have to ask it with that playful glint in your eye. You are not conducting a survey, you are flirting. You are telling him, I am thinking about this, I am thinking about us, and I want to make it better. That is incredibly sexy. A woman who takes ownership of the intimacy is a woman a man wants to keep around. It shows confidence. It shows you are comfortable in your own skin. And trust me, nothing, and I mean nothing, is sexier to a man than a woman who enjoys herself and isn't afraid to talk about it. When you ask about his preference, you are also subtly planting the seed that the next time you are together, it is going to be amazing. You are pre-framing the experience. You are making him visualize it. And visualization is powerful. If he is at work and he gets a text from you asking this, he is no longer thinking about his spreadsheet. He is thinking about you. He is replaying past moments. He is imagining future moments. You have effectively hijacked his brain for the rest of the day. This is how you create desire when you aren't even in the room. It is low investment for you, but high return. You send one text or say one sentence and you get hours of him thinking about you. That is working smart, not hard. Now let's go a bit deeper with the third question, because the first two were about scenarios and pacing, but this next one is about the map of the body. We often assume that men are simple. We think, okay, we know the 2 or 3 zones that work and we just go there and job done. But men have sensory maps just like women do. And they are often completely unexplored because nobody ever bothered to ask. So question number 3 is, what is one part of your body that you think is totally underrated when it comes to being touched? This is going to surprise him. Most men are not used to being asked this. They are used to being the ones doing the touching. They are used to focusing on you. By turning the spotlight on him, you are validating his physical needs in a way that feels very nurturing yet very spicy. Maybe he loves having his neck kissed. Maybe he loves it when you run your nails lightly down his back. Maybe it is his hands or his ears. You do not know until you ask. And when he tells you, you have just been given a cheat code. You have a shortcut to his pleasure center that other women probably ignored. And again, watch his reaction. He might be shy at first. He might say, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. That is fine. Do not let him off the hook. Tease him. Say, well, I guess I will have to go on a treasure hunt and figure it out myself. Now, you have turned it into a game. You have turned it into an exploration. This is playful. This is fun. It takes the seriousness out of it and puts the joy back in. Intimacy is supposed to be fun. It is supposed to be a playground, not a performance review. When you show him that you are curious about his body, it makes him feel cherished. And I use that word deliberately. Men want to feel cherished too. We have this macho exterior, but deep down, we want to feel like you are obsessed with every inch of us. This question delivers that feeling on a silver platter. It also opens the door for you to share your map. Reciprocity is the name of the game. Once he shares his, he is naturally going to ask, what about you? And now you have the perfect opening to tell him exactly what you need without it feeling like a demand. Well, since you asked, I actually love it when you focus on and you fill in the blank. Now you are both operating with better information. You are both better lovers for each other. You are building a custom-made intimacy that fits the two of you perfectly rather than trying to copy what you saw in a movie or what you think you are supposed to do. This is how you build a connection that is bulletproof, because it is based on communication and genuine curiosity. And notice how none of these questions are explicit or vulgar. You could ask these on a date night. You could ask these while driving in the car. They are safe, but they are charged. They carry a current of electricity. That is the sweet spot. You want to be a lady in the streets, but you want him to know that there is a fire waiting for him. These questions light that fire. They signal that there is depth to you, that there is a wild side waiting to be unleashed, but only for the right person, and that creates exclusivity. It makes him feel special that you are discussing this with him. It creates a bubble around the two of you that nobody else can enter. That is the definition of intimacy. It is not just friction. It is a secret world that you build together. Now, I want to pause for a second and talk about the fear of rejection, because I know some of you are thinking, Matthew, what if I ask these questions and he shuts down? What if he thinks I am being weird? Listen to me. If a man thinks you are weird for trying to improve your sexual connection and make him feel good, he is not the right man, period. A high-value man, a man who is confident and secure, is going to love this. He is going to be relieved. He is going to think, thank God, a woman who actually communicates. So do not project your insecurity onto him. Assume he is going to be receptive. Approach it with an energy of fun and lightness. If you make it heavy, he will feel heavy. If you make it playful, he will play along. You set the temperature. You are the thermostat of the interaction. So set the dial to fun. Set the dial to curious. The fourth question we need to cover helps bridge the gap between emotional connection and physical sensation, because for women, those two things are often tied together. But for men, they can sometimes be compartmentalized. We want to reintegrate them. We want him to feel connected to you while he is with you, not just physically present. So question number 4 is designed to anchor the experience in emotion. I want you to ask him, what is the one thing I do that makes you feel the most connected to me during our intimate moments? This is a profound question. It is not about a move. It is not about a position. It is about connection. He might say, it is the way you look me in the eyes, or it is the way you kiss me afterwards, or it is when you say my name. Whatever he answers, that is his love language in the bedroom. That is the thing that makes him feel like this is real. And once you know that, you can do more of it. You can consciously amplify that signal. If he says it is eye contact, then you know that when things are heated up, you need to lock eyes with him to take him to that next level. If he says it is the cuddling afterwards, you know not to jump up and run to the bathroom or check your phone. You stay there. You linger. You feed that connection. This question elevates the entire experience from a physical release to an act of bonding. And that is what keeps a man coming back. Physical release can be found anywhere. Connection, that is rare. That is the commodity that you have that nobody else has. When you combine the physical skill with the emotional intelligence, you become irreplaceable. You become the standard by which every other woman is measured. And frankly, nobody will measure up because they aren't asking these questions. They are guessing. They are hoping. You are strategizing. You are building. There is a massive difference. Now, before we move on to the next batch where we will get into confident boundaries and the deep, deep stuff, I want you to really let this sink in. These questions are not a script to be read robotically. They are conversation starters. They are meant to lead into a tangent. If you ask about a movie scene and he starts talking about a specific genre, go with it. Explore it. Be curious. The goal is not to get through the list. The goal is to start a dialogue that never really ends. A dialogue where you are constantly learning about each other because people change. What he likes today might be different in a year. By establishing this habit of asking, you ensure that you grow together. You ensure that you never get stale. You insulate your relationship against boredom. And that is a powerful place to be. So I want you to try just one of these questions this week. Just one. Pick the one that feels the most natural to you. Maybe it is the movie question. Maybe it is the rhythm question. Drop it into conversation casually and just watch what happens. Watch his eyes light up. Watch his posture change. Watch how he looks at you with a renewed sense of interest. You are waking him up. You are shaking the dust off the relationship. And you are doing it simply by asking a question. It is low risk, high reward. And that is the Matthew Hussey way. We don't do desperate, we do strategic, we don't do chasing, we do attracting. And these questions are magnetic. They pull him in. They make him wonder what else you have up your sleeve. They make him realize that there is more to you than meets the eye. And that mystery, that depth, is what sustains attraction long term. So are you ready for the next level? Because the next few questions are going to take us from fun and playful to deeply psychological and intensely bonding. We are going to talk about how to make him feel like a king and how to get him to treat you like a queen in the process. But you have to master this foundation first. You have to get comfortable with the topic. You have to break the silence. Once you break the silence, everything becomes possible. So take a breath, get your playful vibe on, and get ready to ask. because the answer might just surprise you. And the result will be fireworks. Real, genuine, emotional, and physical fireworks. And isn't that what we are all looking for? Here is the combined second and third batch of the speech. We are now entering the deep end of the pool, so I need you to stay with me, because while the first few questions were about setting the stage, these next ones are about cementing your status as the best partner he has ever had. We are going to talk about the male ego. And I know that phrase gets a bad rap, but in the bedroom, the male ego is your best friend if you know how to feed it properly. Men are secretly terrified of being bad lovers. We walk around with this constant background anxiety that we are doing it wrong, or that you are bored, or that we aren't lasting long enough. So question number 5 is designed to obliterate that insecurity and turn him into a gladiator. I want you to ask him, what is the one specific thing I do during our intimate time that makes you feel the most masculine and powerful? This question is absolute gold because it does 2 things simultaneously. First, it gives you the blueprint to his confidence. If he says, I feel powerful when you make those specific noises, or I feel masculine when you let me take total control, then guess what? You know exactly what buttons to push to make him feel like a superhero. And when a man feels like a superhero, he performs like one. He becomes more attentive, more passionate, and more focused on your pleasure because he feels like he is winning. Secondly, it frames you as a woman who appreciates his masculinity rather than a woman who is trying to suppress it. In a world where men often feel like they have to apologize for their nature, you are giving him a safe harbor to be a man. You are saying, I see your strength and I love it. That is intoxicating. He will become addicted to the way he feels when he is with you because you are the mirror that reflects his best self back to him. Now, moving swiftly to question number 6, and this is the one that requires the most courage, but yields the highest reward. This is about boundaries. We often think boundaries kill the mood, but actually, boundaries create the safety that allows the mood to go wild. You cannot drive a Ferrari at top speed if you don't know where the guardrails are. So I want you to ask him, is there anything we do or anything you've experienced in the past that is a total mood killer or a hard no for you? This shows him that you respect him. It shows him that his comfort is a priority. Many men have had experiences where they were uncomfortable, but felt they had to just man up and deal with it. By giving him permission to say, I actually don't like that, you are building a foundation of trust that is unbreakable. And here is the paradox. When he knows he is safe to say stop, he is much more likely to say go to the adventurous stuff. Safety is the precursor to wildness. You cannot have one without the other. If he knows you are safe, he will open up the darker, deeper, more primal corners of his desires because he knows you won't judge him and you won't push him off a cliff. Now, for the final piece of the puzzle, question number 7, and this is your closing argument. This is the question that keeps the flame alive for years, not just weeks. I want you to ask him, if we could wave a magic wand and add one new element or flavor to our bedroom life this year, what would you want it to be? This is the growth mindset question. It prevents things from getting stale. It implies that you are a team and that this aspect of your relationship is a project you are building together. It allows him to dream. Maybe he wants to introduce toys. Maybe he wants to try role play. Maybe he wants to go on a romantic getaway. Whatever it is, you are keeping the narrative moving forward. You are telling him, I am not done exploring you. And that is the key to lasting desire. The feeling that there is always more to discover. So there you have it. 7 questions that act as keys to unlock a level of intimacy most couples never reach. Please do not just listen to this and nod your head. Be the woman who takes action. Pick one question, ask it tonight. Be playful, be curious, and be confident. Because the moment you start talking about it is the moment it starts getting better. Go out there and make it happen. If you found value in this video and you are ready to stop guessing and start understanding the male mind on a deeper level, then I need you to do one thing for me right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because I am sharing new strategy every single week to help you get the love life you actually deserve, not the one you settle for. Do not let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Make this the moment you decided to take control. It is not about playing games. It is about knowing the rules better than anyone else. Join our community and let us build something amazing together. I will see you in the next video. And this one is a massive game changer because it taps into the visual nature of men without being crude. question number 1 is simply this. I want you to ask him, what is one scene from a movie or a book that you have always secretly wished you could live out in real life? Now listen to the psychology here. If you ask a man straight up what he is into, he might freeze. He might worry you will judge him. He might think his desires are too wild or too vanilla. But when you frame it around a movie or a story, you are giving him a safety net. You are depersonalizing it just enough that he feels safe to tell you the truth. He can blame the movie. He can say, oh, well, in this one film, there was this scene where they did this thing on a train, or there was this moment in a spy thriller where they had to be quiet while people were in the next room. Suddenly, you are not just talking about mechanics. You are talking about scenarios. You are talking about atmosphere. You are finding out if he's into the thrill of getting caught, or the romance of a slow burn, or the intensity of a power dynamic. And the beauty of this is that you do not have to do the thing he mentions immediately. You just file it away in your brain. You acknowledge it. You say, that sounds incredibly hot. That validation alone is going to make him feel 10 feet tall. You have just become his confidant. You have entered the inner sanctum of his fantasies, and you didn't even have to take your clothes off to do it. This builds a level of psychological intimacy that is actually far more potent than the physical act itself, because now he knows you see him. He knows you get it. You are not just a body, you are a partner in crime. And let's be honest, knowing his fantasy gives you the upper hand, because now you can tease it, you can drop little hints, you can create that tension. Tension is the oxygen of attraction. If you give him everything immediately, there is no tension. But if you know what he wants in you, make him wait for it, or you give him little tastes of it. That is when he becomes addicted to you. Now, moving on to question number 2. And this one is about calibration. It is about understanding his rhythm, because every male operates at a different frequency. The question is, when we are together, do you prefer the slow burn where we take our time, or